Can everybody please bring out the pink foldable that we started yesterday, which we filled in different names for the slopes, different names for the y-intercept, and then we started, but we did not finish. So today we are going to be finishing everything up from yesterday, and then you will get the half sheet that's due at the end of class. All right. So in all of the classes, we definitely finished these two. And even this one, however, it was this one that some of us left off on. So if you already have it, please bear with me and just listen again. Hold on. All right. So remember in the table, we are trying to find delta y over delta x so we can find our slope, because our slope is delta y divided by delta x. And on this one right here, we're trying to get from -8 all the way to 4. So that's not too far actually. So from -8 to 4, we are adding 4. From -4 to 1, we added 5. From 1 to 3, we added 2. Then over here, from -6 to 2, add 4. From -2 to 3, add 5. From 3 to 5, add 2. Now don't get confused because the delta y over delta x are different. What matters is once we divide it, is it going to be the same? That's how we find our slope. So in your calculator, take 4 divided by 4, we get the 1. And 5 divided by 5 will also equal 1. 2 divided by 2 also equals 1. That's what matters. It's after you divide it, is it the same thing? If so, yes, that is our m equals 1. Now, in most of the classes, we did not find the b value. So now let me go back and just show you how to find the b value, which is using your linear regression. So we go to stat, press enter on edit, put in your values, -6, -2, 3, and 5. Make sure you're putting in the values because I'm going to go through the steps with you, but I'm not going to tell you what the b value is. That's for you to figure it out, okay? So everybody should have their calculators ready, putting in the rest of the values for the y. So after this, even to find the b value, you don't have to turn the diagnostic on. Once you get your x's and y's in here, if you press stat, go over to calc, we're still going to number 4. And then if you press enter several times, after calculate, press enter one more time, and then your b value will pop up. However, I'm not showing you what it is because I expect you to be doing the work. So please go ahead and press calculate one more time to find your b value. I got my b value. I hope you got yours. All right. So when you write the equation, remember your y equals, they're not asking you to write the y-intercept. They want to know what the equation is. And I'm going to write equation under here because your equation is going to be your slope, which is invisible 1x. And then whatever the b value is will go behind it. So x and then your b value. So please make sure you have filled in both of those things, and then we're moving on to the next one. So in all the classes, we already did this one right here. The key thing about looking at these graphs is to make sure that you are looking to see what it's counting by on the side, because it doesn't always count by ones, all right? So I believe in, if you can please go to this problem right here. In a couple of the classes, we did not get this one finished, so please bear with us so we can finish this one. So remember, I always tell you to start with the y-intercept, and that y-intercept, if you look, it's counting by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, all the way up. This is 28, that would be 30, and this is x comma y, so it's 0 comma 30. That's a good point. This one right here is not a good point because it's not exactly on the 28. That's not a good point because it's not exactly on the 24. This one, not exactly on the line. I want to find the next point that's perfectly on that line and that line. So this one is 4 comma 20. So now that I have at least 2 points for my table, I can definitely do delta y over delta x to find the slope. So from 30 to 20, it's all positive. So 30 to 20, that means I subtracted 10. Then from 0 to 4, that means I added 4. So in order for me to write my slope, I need to put delta y on top, delta x on the bottom. I'll give you a moment if you need to write anything. Because next I'm going to get my calculator. This right here, if you're not sure if it is reduced or not, just simply put it in the calculator. Negative 10. This is divided by 4. You'll get an answer, which is a decimal. I don't want the decimal, especially if we're talking about slope. If we're talking about the y-intercept, you can have a decimal, but slopes need to be fractions. And the way to change that to a fraction, one way to change it, there is another way. Press math, which is the math button right there. Then press enter 2 times, and it will give me the reduced fraction, which is negative 5 over 2. That's the slope I need to answer the question. This means there were roughly 5 cupcakes sold every 2 hours. This one did not ask for the equation, so we don't need to write it. So these two down here are word problems. And in order to find the m, or the slope of the word problem, we need to be looking for some keywords. So please write down the word like per, each, or every. What happened each time? What happened every time? Most people are pretty good with this. So it says for babysitting, Nicole charges a flat fee of $3 plus $5 per hour. How much each time, or how much per hour? $5 per hour. So 5 is my slope. And the B is also the same thing as the flat fee, or the how much does she charge in the beginning. So the B is 0,3. And if I'm putting everything together to write my equation is definitely going to be 5 with the slope plus $3. Or you can write it as 3 plus 5x. Remember, they might try to flip the m and the b on you. Just be careful if they try to do that. The next one here, once again for the m, we are looking for keywords like per, each, every. What happens each time? What happens every time? What happens per time? So it says the cost of buying a new iPhone is $1,000 plus $30 per month. What happened each month? You have to pay $30 per month. And the cost of buying a new phone, that's a one-time fee. That's your B value. And I'll go ahead and write it as 0,1000. That's the starting point. So the first fee you had to pay was $1,000. Do you keep paying the $1,000? No, that's why the $1,000 is not a slope, because you don't have to keep paying the $1,000 each month. So if I want to set up my equation, I'm going to write $30 for x plus $1,000, or you can write it as 1,000 plus 30x. So please make sure you get that. I'll give you time to write it down if you need to. You got about 10 seconds. Make sure you're please paying attention. We're going to go straight over to this problem right here. All right. So some classes didn't do this one either. What is the slope of the line that passes through the points -3, 4, and 7, 10? So in this case, I would definitely just take those 2 points and turn it into a table. However, there were some students that remembered the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find the m. That's another way to find it. So if you are really good at this formula with your y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, that's perfect. If you're not too good at it, I always say, put the points in a table Once again, delta y over delta x. Delta y over delta x is always your friend, especially if you have some points you could put in a table. So 4 got to 10 by adding 6. Negative 3 got to 7 by adding 10. So that would be 6 over 10. Once again, this is not reduced. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So remember, the way to reduce it is to put it in the calculator. I'm going to show you both ways. So you can put it in there as 6 divided by 10. Press enter. You get a decimal. Slopes cannot be decimal, so press math, enter, enter, and get the reduced fraction, which would be 3 over 5. Or another way, which I saw some people doing, was they were pressing alpha y equals to get their pretty fraction in there. Once you get it in there, then you press enter and it automatically reduces. So there's 2 different ways to reduce the fraction. If you put it in there and it pops up as the same thing, that means it's already reduced. And if you want to find the b value for this one, once again, clear your calculator, and we're going to use stat. Press enter, put in the 2 points. It's negative 3, comma, I'm going to put in negative 3 and then the 7. Oops, sorry, messed up. Come on, back to stat, edit. Okay, so negative 3, 7, and then 4, 10. Then press stat, go over to calc, go down to 4, so you can see what the b value would be. The b value is 5.8. Uh-oh, something's not right. Oh, no, it is right, sorry. So the equation, which is 0.6, we already found out what the slope is. So we already know that's 3 over 5x plus the b. I'll show you the b for this one. But for the one above it, you better already have written in the b and the full equation. All right. So this is it for the foldable. Please make sure you can now please take a moment to get up nicely and quietly, grab a glue stick, and the only part you're gluing is this back part. You're going to glue it on page 15. So on page 15, you're just going to glue it. You can either glue it on this side or you can glue it on this side. It's whatever you prefer. You're going to write slope, intercept, form up here. I know some classes already have written this. And then if you flip it over, this is the section that gets glued. So just glue, use your glue stick, pass the glue stick to a neighbor nicely, and then you can just glue it in like that. So then if you need help, you open it like that. Some of us also wrote y equals mx plus b right here. If you didn't, don't worry, you'll do that when I get back. So please get up, get your glue stick and do that. And then the substitute that you're being nice to, hopefully you're being nice, we'll give you the half sheet and you'll work on that. Have a good one.